falling enrollment, and all the other factors that affect their annual budgets. Education reporter Elizabeth Shockman is here now to talk about the financial woes causing many districts to make cuts. Elizabeth, welcome.
Hey, Tom.
You've been following the budget decisions in the Minneapolis and the St. Paul school boards that they have to make around this time of year. What's happening?
Minneapolis and St. Paul are facing budget shortfalls of more than $100 million each. They're not alone. More than 70% of metro area school districts are facing budget shortfalls. There's a combination of factors causing this. For one, the money that the federal government gave to school districts around the country to help with the impact of the pandemic is now running out. School districts are also, just like everyone else, dealing with inflation. It costs more to pay staff, buy food, heat school buildings, and hire bus drivers. But third, and this is true in a lot of places, but it's been especially hard in Minneapolis and St. Paul, the number of students enrolling and attending classes in these districts has been falling for decades.
All right, enrollment. Tell us more about that. The number of students is very important for districts' bottom lines, right?
Yes, the amount of funding districts get is tied to how many students they enroll. For example, in St. Paul, over the last 5 years, enrollment has fallen by more than 5,000 students. St. Paul is Minnesota's second largest district, and it currently enrolls 60% of the school-aged children who live in the city. In 2021, St. Paul voted to close 6 schools as a result of these enrollment declines. More recently, they have managed to slow the loss of students. After several years of student enrollment declines in the thousands, this year's loss was a comparative low of 48 students. District leaders say that reversal is the result of focusing instruction in schools on language immersion and world cultures. They've also invested heavily in pre-K programming, which they say has led to their kindergarten enrollment expanding for the first time in a decade.
All right, now that's St. Paul. Tell us what's going on in Minneapolis.
Minneapolis has lost tens of thousands of students in the past 25 years. Open enrollment has played a role. The gap between the number of children in the city and the number enrolled in the district has grown significantly. But in recent years, that has been less of a factor. District leaders say declines have been driven primarily by a fall in the number of school-aged children. In 2019, there were more than 55,000 children under the age of 9 living in Minneapolis. But by 2022, that number had dropped to fewer than 43,000. Here's what Minneapolis Public Schools Senior Chief of Finance, Ibrahima Diop, told NPR News.
The number of students that we would need to be at a full capacity don't even exist in the city because we have a declining demographic in Minneapolis.
Diop also said the district has never faced a financial gap like the one it's facing this year.
All right, budget gaps, that usually means layoffs, cuts, right? What are you hearing?
That's exactly right. Both the Minneapolis and St. Paul districts say they're going to need to lay off workers. Minneapolis has also been hinting at closing schools. At the most recent Minneapolis school board meeting, leaders said significant reductions were necessary. Their chief of finance is proposing the district use its fund balance as a one-time measure to get them through the next school year. District leaders are planning to make cuts now, and then, if they follow their chief financial officer's advice, they will spend the next 12 months planning how to match the staff and school buildings they have to the actual number of students enrolled. We'll get a closer look at what's being cut tomorrow at their next board meeting.
Elizabeth Shockman, our education reporter, thanks so much for the update.
Thanks for having me.